Well, I really don't know where to start other than have a seat, man. This could go on a while. I figured out the way to become a giant is to eat at Nashville every night, every morning for breakfast, and then go out with these guys and eat pizza on the bus after every gig. And that's the way you become a giant. But just overwhelmed by this night. You know, I'm not crazy about attention. I'm not afraid of it, but I'm just not that crazy about it. And to hear all these just gifted people sing these songs has just been the greatest blessing ever. And a quick word on Miss Amy. She's doing great. My wife had a really bad bike wreck about a month ago and was unconscious for about 10 or 15 minutes and had a few complications, but she's home resting, and they just say stillness and a little bit of rest, and she's going to be just fine. She'll be back out and doing all that. First of all, thank you to CMT. I don't think there's a lot of people with the CMT organization and crew that realized that I was here when CMT started as a network. And what I had to do, they played videos like MTV, and I had to go and be on this brand new network, this brand new show, and talk to a damn puppet named Shotgun Red. So I started with this great network, and I'm so grateful to them for all their hard work and all the people they acquired to come up here and say some things and sing some things. And we've been through it all together, and we're all still here, you know, almost 40 years later now. And I want to say a special thank you to this band back here. This is the band that I travel with. And I got some great advice as a young musician. I believe it was Emery Gordy, who produced my first 2 records. He told me, he said, whatever you do in your career and in your life, he said, don't ever be the best musician in the band. You'll never learn anything. So I tried to surround myself with people that would make me play up to them. And it's great advice. And I would like to thank John Jarvis for MD in this entire show. You did a great job, John. And just a treat to hear them all play and shine. I'm grateful that we travel around together. We got to tour this summer for the first time in about 3 years, and we had more fun. I gained more weight than I thought was possible, but we had a ball. I'd like to thank my manager, Larry Fitzgerald, and Jennifer Templeton, and Dan Waters. Larry was a big part of putting this all together, and here's the beautiful thing about Larry and I. We've been together as partners, him, my manager, and me being the artist. We're close to 40 years now on a handshake. I'm as proud of that as anything I've ever accomplished, that they're still our gentleman in the world. Grateful to him. He's basically retired from management except me. He said, I'm going to leave everything behind except you. You're it. And I said, okay, fair enough. But I'm grateful to him. The artists that came and sang tonight and sang these songs, I was blown away. You know, I was kind of sequestered and not allowed to know who was coming. And then of course they blew it with advertising, and then I knew who was coming. But I didn't know what songs anybody was going to sing. And that was such a gift. And I missed on so many of what I thought someone might sing. They surprised me. Ricky, what you did with One More Last Chance was so stinking cool. Thank you for doing that. Brad, you killed it. I love to hear you play. I played on Brad's first record, I believe, played and sang on his first record. So many of these artists, I had the privilege of getting to record with them and play with them, and just hearing your spin on the songs I've written, it was really, really beautiful. And Fred Foster used to tell me all the time that all that matters is a great singer and a great song. So it doesn't matter who's singing it. But if you got a fine singer up there singing a pretty good song, you're going to win, you know. And I miss Fred dearly. He was kind to me. Sitting in my booth tonight is Tony Brown. Man, I made so many of these records with. And I appreciate your belief in me for over 40 years. We shared the stage with Rodney Crowell and Roseanne Cash, and I value your friendship and the contributions you've made in my life. You've changed my life, and I'm grateful for them. Thank you, Tony. I would love to go through and just talk about everybody that shined like they did on those songs. It was magnificent. And, you know, I thought I was going to be a blubbering idiot over there in that silly box over there, but turned out I had a blast. It was so much fun just to hear people sing these songs because, you know, when I first came here, I wasn't a very good songwriter. And that was fair. That was a fair assessment. And I remember Harlan Howard, the sweetest guy in the world. I used to sing demos for Harlan for $10 a song. And he'd write these songs, and I'd go sing them for him in the studio, and we were great friends. And he pulled me aside one day, and he said, "Kid, you're a hell of a guitar picker." And he said, "Kid, you're about as good a singer as I've ever heard, and your songs are okay." But I took it to heart. You know, he was right. And it takes a long time to finally come to grips with what you want to be as a songwriter. Your earliest efforts are always maybe a little off the mark. But like it said up there in the video tonight, I wanted more than anything to sing my own songs, whether I succeeded or I failed. I wouldn't mind failing. You know, I learned a lot more from the mistakes I made and the failures that I had than I did the successes. If you keep that in the proper perspective, you'll do really, really good. It's easy to react to success, but when you struggle and you fail a little bit, that's when you really find out what your character looks like. And hearing that story told tonight about taking the leap of faith for me when Mark Knopfler offered me a world tour for a year and a half and more money than I'd ever seen in my lifetime, I couldn't believe I said no, you know. But like I said, if I didn't believe in me, I didn't think I could get anybody else to do it either. You know, I've been with two record companies in my near 40 years of being here. RCA, Joe Galante, and his team there signed me. Tony was at that label at the time, and were kind. And I've been at MCA Records for about, 30-something years, maybe more. And they're still keeping me there. You know, everybody's got their their bio of everything they've accomplished, and mine always says, "and over 26 million records sold." And I tell everybody, I said, "Hell, that ain't changed in 25 years. That's that number's about the same." But even though I don't move the needle like I used to, I'm grateful to Cindy and Mike Dungan and the team over there that's assembled at MCA for still allowing me to be creative and write songs and put records out, regardless of what happens with them. I heard Kenny Rogers talk one time. He had a new record, and he hadn't made a record in years and years and years. And he was getting interviewed, and somebody asked him, said, "Kenny, you made a new record?" And he said, "Yes, sir, I have." And they said, are you hoping it's successful?" And he kind of smiled, and he said, "No, not really." He said, "I've had a lot of records over the years that have been very successful." He said, "What I want this record to be is significant." And so I took that to heart, and I kind of feel like that's where I am these days. I want the records and the songs to reflect how I feel. You know, I write songs different as a 65-year-old man than I did as a 25-year-old man, thank God. You know, I told you, those early days weren't that great. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank my new Eagle family. Getting to play with those guys has been beyond belief. You know, I have tapes of me as a 15-year-old kid singing Eagle songs, you know, and thank God I haven't played them for them. I don't know if I'd have kept the gig if they'd have heard that. But what they've done for me is they've given me a valuable lesson once again. They're who they are because their songs were just better than everybody else's. Had the greatest collection of songs ever. And that's what I learned from playing with them. And the real beauty of what's happened for me in the last 6 years of getting to tour with them it came because of a tragedy in the passing of Glenn Fry. It's the only reason I'm out there doing it, but I get to, and I'm grateful for it. But what they've done for me is given me a tremendous amount of validation for the 50 years that I've done this. I made money when I was 15 years old. Somebody said they'd pay me to play in a club. At least I was supposed to get paid. We were going to get paid $100. We played for 9 hours or whatever the hell, and we got finished, and this woman said she wasn't going to pay us. And I said, all right. I said, that's fine. I said, my dad's a lawyer. I said, I'm going to take your ass to court. So here I am, a 15-year-old kid thinking I'm a badass. I'm going to take this woman to court. We go into this little small claims court, and judge says, well, we'll call this case, blah, blah, blah. I said, son, I see you're suing this lady for $100 for services rendered that she didn't pay you. And I said, yes, sir, that's true. And he said, are you aware that she's countersuing you for slander, libel, defamation of character, and this whole laundry list of stuff? I said, no, I wasn't aware of that. And he said, kid, you want some good advice? And I said, yes, sir. He said, chalk this up to experience and get the hell out of my court. So I did. My first gig I got stiffed for, but the next one I didn't, and away I went, But just thankful that you came. This is a beautiful facility here at Belmont University. It's I know they told you how much they spent on it, and it's a fortune, but it's worth it. It's beautiful. And here's the best part. My daughter Karina is a senior here at Belmont this year. I'm not real sure if CMT is aware of this, but if one of the members of the house band is a Belmont student, you get a 15% discount on the building. So I'm full of so much gratitude at this time of my life. I can't thank you enough, and I don't know that I could go through here and tell you all the things that I'm feeling inside, because I don't think I can. But just grateful to all these artists. I know how hard it is to give of your time and to learn somebody else's song. And it's hard to do. And the fact that they did it, the fact that they learned the songs and sang what they sang was just an amazing gift. So I just thank you for the gift of tonight. God bless.